Hi, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my infographic presentation on Are the COVID-19 vaccinations actually killing you? This infographic will provide a general overview of how vaccines work, their roles in preventing disease, but specifically placing a focus on the COVID-19 vaccinations due to their rapid development, public skepticism, and the challenge of building trust during a global health crisis. First, as an introduction, my name is Adam Andres. I am a graduating senior full-time at Marian University, but I'm taking this microbiology class through Bay Path University as actually my last class for my undergraduate degree. So it's been very exciting. I'm actually a business finance major with a very strong entrepreneurial background. And I'll be actually in 2 weeks now going to the University of Notre Dame to pursue a master's in what's called their STEAM program, which is Engineering, Science, Technology, Entrepreneurial Excellence Master. A lot of that program has to do with commercializing research, so it's been extremely interesting understanding how research works and a little bit more about specifically microbiology and just going through the steps of what it's like to be involved in science, because honestly, it hasn't really been something I've been overly into, and so this microbiology class has been a super great experience for me, especially as my master program is very directly working with STEM students and people in the STEM industry, or that background, and so it's been a lot of help and just allowing me to kind of understand what it's like to be in these kind of environments. So let's get right to it on talking about if the COVID-19 vaccines are actually killing you. So foremost, for my audience, this is mainly targeted to people that were just like myself, skeptical about the COVID-19 vaccines, especially due to all the worry that's going on social media throughout the longest time, especially there's been a new trend on just questioning vaccines in general. And so I really wanted to try to make this infographic very basic and simple, understanding on vaccines, a little bit of research to back that up, and then a takeaway on how we should continue to look at vaccines, especially new ones that come out of development, just like the COVID-19 vaccinations did. So just giving you a general understanding on that. So those who are just a little skeptical and just trying to understand what it actually means for vaccines and what the side effects could possibly be. And then I used Canva in order to make this infographic, and I used my different elements in order to create a visually appealing infographic that clearly shows you what you can learn from different parts of the infographic. So I used the white boxes and labeled them as what is a vaccine, how does the COVID-19 vaccine work, rare side effects, so you can easily, if you're taking a quick glance at it, and you're looking for just one piece of information from my infographic, you can find exactly what you want pretty quickly through the organization I did with the different elements in this, using Canva for this infographic. So let's get started, first off, with the basic question of what is a vaccine? So put pretty straightforward, vaccines help train the immune system by imitating harmful genes like viruses or bacteria. This allows the body to learn how to defend itself without actually getting sick from the real disease. So vaccines are basically introducing your body to a disease at a very small amount in order for your body to be able to create a defense system without having to actually get sick and be introduced to the disease or virus full-blown like you would organically and naturally. So the vaccines are very controlled. And they have a very high attention to detail. Every vaccine ingredient that is used serves a very specific purpose. Three main purposes are to provide immunity, keep the vaccine safe and long-lasting, and to make the vaccines more effective. That was stated by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention 2023. So it really shows just the intentionality that goes into creating a vaccine with every single ingredient playing a part in one of those three things. Really what they want for you is to be safe in the long term. And then, like I mentioned, just kind of one last summary, the vaccine teaches the immune system to recognize and fight the infection without exposing the body to the full-strength disease. And so, specifically, how does the COVID-19 vaccine work? The COVID vaccine is an mRNA vaccine that uses a specifically designed messenger to tell your cells how to make a small part of the COVID-19 virus spike protein. So it's just like the normal vaccines in a sense that it is showing your body a small amount or exposing your body to a small amount of the disease in order for your own body to create the defense system necessary. When it says mRNA, what that really does is it just carries protein information from the DNA and a cell's nucleus to the cell's cytoplasm. So it's really just another way of informing your body about this disease, just taking a different approach. There was a lot of skepticism. Is it changing your DNA? Like, what's actually happening, especially as it was a new type of vaccination, or at least it was newly used in this broad circumstances by so many people. And so I do want to say that the COVID vaccine actually just instructs cells to build protection against the virus. It doesn't change the DNA. So it's just another way to inform that your body of the virus and allow yourself to be exposed to a very small controlled amount in order to not be taken over and actually fall sick to the disease. For example, the COVID-19. And so I did want to talk about the rare side effects of the COVID-19 vaccine, just so you can be informed of what actually was happening to some people. So one of the side effects that happened at one of the largest scales compared to other smaller side effects was myocarditis and pericarditis. And while most side effects are mild, these were the few rare but serious reactions that have been reported. So really, what these two reactions are, it means pretty simply heart inflammation. And so it's very interesting to see what demographic this actually affected the most. For example, if you remember, when they were talking about COVID-19, the demographic that had the most danger was the older population, the aging population. And as you can see in the in the graph right below, the age demographic that was mostly affected by these two rare side effects was actually between 18 to 29 years old. So, and if you continue to look further down the graph, the aging population actually did not have this rare side effect as often, not nearly as often. But you can also tell that this didn't happen in a lot of people. It was a very rare side effect, luckily. But I do find it really interesting to point out that the younger generation didn't have as much of the possibility of strong health dangers from the COVID-19, yet the rare side effects were even more dangerous. Although for the older generation, they did have some strong health potential dangers and concerns from COVID-19, but this rare side effect was not as popular, or didn't happen as often. So I really wanted a big takeaway to be understanding a vaccine in the sense of, is this vaccine needed for me in my life circumstances? Maybe for that younger generation, it may not have been as important to get the vaccine. And then on top of that, there was also some potential rare side effects, such as these. And for the older generation, it was more necessary to get the vaccine, and there was less chance of the rare side effects. So I really wanted that to be the biggest takeaway from my infographic, is really understanding your own personal life situation and life circumstances when you're looking into, is a vaccine necessary for me to get due to what's going on in my personal health. Fortunately, for the vast majority of people, the COVID-19 vaccinations did not result in serious side effects, and to this day, studies have not identified any long-term adverse effects. But like we mentioned, we've only been through those vaccines for the past 5 years, and although there's been numerous studies on the long-term effects, we're not necessarily there yet. When it comes to, it's not 30 years down the line. But luckily, we can trust the scientists behind this and saying that there's not going to be large side effects, but it is important to take into consideration, is this necessary for me to get due to my life circumstances? So thank you all so much for this. I really appreciate you taking the time, and I hope you have a great day.